Riveting. It's 7 o'clock. Let's get started. I'd like to welcome everyone to the April Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Noreen, would you like to do roll call?
Kevin Scully.
Here.
Daniel is absent. Chip Postiglione.
Here.
Here.
John Seeley.
Here.
Zach Murphy.
Here.
He will be filling in for Marcy this evening. Thank you.
Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. And please make note of the fire exits, two behind you, and two of the exits behind us. All right, to get started tonight, let's continue a public hearing for Robinson. How you doing, man? Just make sure the mic's on there, please. And
Okay,
good. Pull it closer to you.
got it.
How's everything going?
Good, thank you.
So we received all the information I think we were looking for. We heard from the Palisades.
They are fine with the changes that were made.
Yep,
Great.
they were fine. And all the information that you've given us and cooperated with us is really appreciated.
Thank you, I appreciate it too.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
So if do you have anything new you'd like to add or anything?
No.
No? If anyone here on the board needs a recap or any questions on any of the information that came in, this was the rock wall, the old rock wall situation that they were holding them accountable for, that I think we had all cleared up. I think we pretty much beat it to death. Right? So if no one has any further questions or comments with everything that we've gotten in, I would like to talk, we've got to go over the elements.
Yeah, you could close the public hearing first if you don't want to hear from anybody else, or if you do not need any further information. You could discuss the balancing test and the 5 factors either before or after you close the public hearing. Typically, you'll close the hearing and then consider it. If you're considering any conditions that you still want to talk about, I would suggest you do that while the hearing is open, so you can have a give and take with the applicant on those.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone that's in attendance tonight have any comments or remarks on this project here to speak about it? Okay, no one coming forward. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to close this public hearing.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The reason why I close it, I don't think there's any stipulation or any other things. I'd just like to hit those. Do you have those elements, sir?
I do. I could step you through the
Yeah, would you
through the
please?
factors. As the board knows, it's a balancing test weighing the benefit to the applicant against any detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the community related to the grant of the variances, guided by 5 factors. The first one is whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to any nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance.
Everything we've heard, I would say no.
No, that's correct.
The next factor is whether the benefits sought can be achieved by some feasible method other than an area variance.
No.
No.
Next is whether the area variance is substantial.
No.
No.
whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district,
No.
and whether it's self-created is the fifth factor.
Self-created.
Self-created, but he fixed it, and so I'm going to say no on that there.
Okay, so it sounds like the factors are lining up for an approval. Typically, there's, there's standard conditions that you always include, which is, compliance with all laws, rules, and regulations, payment of all due fees, compliance with the plans submitted. Those are standard. Anybody have any additional conditions they want to talk about or include? Okay, so then it's ready for a motion to approve the variances sought on those three standard conditions. Anybody want to make a motion to that effect?
So I'll make a motion to approve the variance request for Christopher Robinson for 124 Second Avenue, Monroe.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And then if you could make a separate motion to direct me to prepare a resolution and to authorize the chairman to sign it if he finds it consistent with the proceedings.
Motion to do what the lawyer said.
I'll
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
good
all
luck.
your time.
Yeah,
All right, guys.
enjoy
Thanks.
your property.
I will. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Welcome.
So, returning projects, Remy, please step forward. How you guys doing tonight, all right?
Good, good.
That one's on? Appreciate that. Just move that a little closer to you. Don't be scared. So you had sent us quite a bit of information. We appreciate that.
Yes. I was doing some research online about it.
So if everyone remembers, we were asking on this project to really work out the the coverage area, and also there was these the ones where the pictures also were brought in?
It is like 6 or 7 pictures.
Yeah, right.
Excuse me.
Anything besides the pictures, what you sent, you want to lead off with tonight, or talk what you did in the last month?
I mean, technically, I was doing my research about what needs to get done, more or less, to remediate the lot coverage. And as you could see, I provided a copy of the survey, and I marked out a couple of areas that I'm willing to remove. And more or less, that would be a total of 795 square footage of surface. And that would bring me down roughly to 36%, 36.7, hopefully more percentage. And proposing to treat these decks as a lease, which like, is all over. I contacted an engineer and everybody, and like I was told that any deck, raised deck that has dirt underneath is at least a 50% pervious. Like water goes through, no issue, as long as you have gaps in the woods. And that's why I provided the pictures, which I have half an inch, 3/8 of an inch of, it's all over the place of spacing between every plank. So if that's something that we could work on, and we could add the pool deck and the front deck, and I'm willing to, the deck behind it, as you see in the survey, to bring it down to like half of the size, only keep it like 120 square foot behind the house, and removing all the pavers behind the house. So
Moving all the,
that, all the brick patios behind,
Yes.
the ones that I marked down,
Yes.
yeah, half, two sides, and I will leave a small surface of like 120 square feet only. It's actually not needed. There's a back door to come out and stuff there. So if
That's the area you're talking about,
patio
that
number
that driveway?
yeah, the
The
driveway.
driveway.
driveway, you have a letter from my neighbor agreeing that I'm allowed to remove it, and
Right.
I'm gonna work on that to remove it completely.
So could I just jump in? So the thing that you submitted, everything that you've highlighted in yellow, you're looking to
those are gonna be
remove?
removing.
It's just going to come out
Come
completely?
out completely
Okay.
and put grass. So
I s-
the driveway, you remember the last time we had when you guys said it was actually it's a little more than what was showing there.
That's why the extra
That's the
highlighting.
extra.
Okay, I remember that now.
Yes, that's all the
okay.
extra that will be coming out. It's roughly about 80 inches past that shed there on the side, up 80 inches, and about 8 feet down into my property as well. So,
The shed,
I'm only
the shed
counting-
number 3,
yes,
right?
yes, it goes about another 80 inches. It's very narrow space there, but everything that is on top of the property line will be removed. They fine with it. Brick patio number 10, that's on the corner of the property. There is a retaining wall there that will have to stay, even if I remove the bricks, the pavers. That's why next to the chart here, number 10 would be coming down to 22 square feet only out of, originally is like 153. It's gonna be coming down to 22. Number 9, which is the big one on the back, I will be removing all the gravel around the pool, all of the portion of the pavers. If you see one of the pictures,
Right.
there is bags of dirt on top of that whole section will be coming out. And that's gonna deduct another 206 out of that area.
Sorry, so you were talking about 9, I couldn't find it. Can you tell me what is happening with 9?
Number 9, if you look at the mark, I marked it out. It's gonna be coming down out of 797 right now. I'm deducting 206 minimum of square foot out of that floor. Take it off and put grass. All the gravel around the pool, everything, take it out.
You're going to reduce, so you're reducing number 9 in size?
206 less
Okay.
square foot. That's on this. Where's the other picture? Those are these
Oh,
two
okay,
pictures there.
I see. 9 includes all
Nine,
the way
yeah,
around
that
the back.
includes all of that.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
that's all, that's part of the removal. It's
Yes.
not, I understand now.
That will be like around 206 roughly. Those are the two pictures that I provided that has all the,
So, okay, so if I understand right, it's the, everything that's in yellow
yeah, it will be
is
coming out.
removed.
Yes,
And then you also said something about decks, changing the configuration of the deck so that there's a slatted wood so it drains down below
there
it?
is already.
That's what they are already?
They are ready, yeah, those are the pictures of how we look underneath. There's nothing compacted underneath, it's just dirt.
So what you're,
I'm proposing.
you're arguing that like a mitigating factor is to say, look, it counts as full coverage, but in reality,
It
it
is,
really
yeah.
should count as 50%.
That's why we have a
Correct.
couple of,
Equitably,
yeah.
that's what you're saying.
If we can possibly do that.
I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah, that will bring it down to about 33%. Which,
So all told, that it would be 33% with, if you removed everything you're going to remove, and if you applied this 50%.
if we can.
It's,
A reduction of
Yeah, they say
33%.
50 to 80. I'm asking for 50 at least if it's possible, you know, on those two decks, on the pool, the one next to the pool, and the one in the front.
and without the equitable, that 50%, you're saying everything.
We're still down to 36.7 roughly, instead
Okay.
of 41. And I'm thinking more. I gotta read, and when I remove everything, I'm gonna bring my surveyor again. It might be a lot less because I think that's not 100% accurate. What I did it myself. The math, it might be less than that.
Okay, so, you did all these calculations, it wasn't the surveyor that did them?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Right, and I think that's what we had talked about, because we didn't want to put you through that,
Exactly,
just to
yeah.
get a start, to paint the picture of what we're doing here. We appreciate all the pictures in the marked-up survey here to really paint the picture, and everything you've gone through here. Just so you know, I understand that you spoke to an engineer. The wood deck is debatable. His view and what he's saying about the coverage is debatable, but, because we have talked about that last meeting or the meeting
Last meeting,
before,
yeah.
on a different project?
I think the last two meetings.
Yeah,
Talked about that on a lot of projects.
yeah, a lot of projects, so, but and I'm pretty sure the board appreciates what you've brought here and to show that you're willing to make a case for yourself going forward.
All the
And
positive effort is
Yeah.
appreciated.
it is.
Very helpful.
Thank you.
So if the board up here doesn't have any more questions or requests, which I think everything we've done, he's asked for, is there any more questions?
No, I don't
Yeah.
have any questions on this.
So if there's nothing going forward, I'd like to,
Did you say you had a question?
No, I said,
No,
but I was
okay.
gonna
Yeah.
say,
yeah.
if, I need some time to get this done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, don't,
Yeah, no,
don't-
we're gonna
don't
go.
start this yet.
I'm
because we
gonna
can
make a
figure
motion.
out-
Yeah.
Don't jump yet.
Bring my surveyor. and-
Yeah, new tomorrow.
Definitely.
Come hell or high water.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to schedule a public hearing for when, May
28th,
May 28th
7 PM.
at 7 PM.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir. So what's happened is the mailing will go out, and then next meeting, there'll be a public hearing, and we'll go from there.
They do the mail.
Yeah.
I'll be give me a call next week.
No problem.
I'll get the letter set up and then you can.
And thank you for all this information. This was helpful.
No problem. Thank you.
Have a good night.
We all set?
Thank you.
Right, that's.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Okay, moving along to returning projects, Nelson Luciano. How you doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay, great.
The same, you have anything new for us? Were we expecting, we didn't get much. I did.
Got some
No, we had
pictures.
given some stuff in on April 9th from the surveyor with a new table, so you should have the new
This,
table
yeah, the new table, right.
for his lot coverage and everything, then a picture of his driveway, because you had questioned his driveway.
Right.
I'll
Thank
just
you.
submit- Yep.
So the surveyor calced out the area coverage. Anyone on the board have any questions? Because this one, like the other projects, has been going on a little bit with give and take of what we've been looking for and trying to understand what's going on. This one's a little more complex with the pool. We had a pool that was taken down, a pool that didn't have a permit, that was taken down and a bigger oval pool went up without a permit. Is that correct?
That's my recollection, yes.
Right? And then we have the gazebo and the shed.
The fence, which was rectified,
Correct,
Yep.
which was rectified with that,
yes.
with the higher department saying that they were fine with it.
Right.
Yeah, we have a letter for that.
So what I proposed was to remove the stone area, number 6, and also move the shed over to the second driveway on Park Terrace. And also that same driveway, half is blacktop, the other half it's permeable. It has grows grass on there. It used to be a gravel driveway, but the gravel since is gone and it's gets muddy when it rains. It grows grass. I submitted pictures of the the driveway as well as the stone area. And
So 6 being that, that was it like a fire pit area or something? So
Yes.
you're removing that?
I'll remove the stones. They're gravel, the little rocks. I sent a picture with that also. You got that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you can see, there's grass that grows. I got to pull it all the time. But I mean, it's permeable. The water goes through it. But if you need me to remove the stones from that area, that's fine because the pit itself is removable. It's mobile. You can put it away, and it's just chairs around that particular area. And then the shed I can put on the blacktop on the driveway on the second one, number 10.
This photo that you submitted is the one that's the stone area?
No, that's the half of the driveway that's not blacktopped. The stone area is the one with the chairs around it and the fire pit in the middle.
Oh,
Yeah, it's hard.
that one?
Oh,
Yeah. That's why there's a little confusion, but
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay.
So that whole area, are these stones, like these landscaping stones?
Yeah, they're just stones, water goes through. Is it on the other side?
On the other side, it's just that.
Oh,
Yeah, I have it now in a packet.
correct, yeah. And also, I'd like to also state the same as my neighbor did, that the decks is compacted ground underneath, and it's about half an inch. The boards are pretty wide, and the water permeable go right through it. So I'd also like to contest maybe 50% of lot coverage.
What deck are we speaking?
If you look at the table, all 3 decks, 7, 8, and 9, are on the same line, coming up to 568 square feet in total. So I calculated that with the fire pit, the driveway, the shed, and the decks, it would bring me to 34%, saving 1,219 square feet.
All right, I'm going to ask you to go over this again.
Okay.
So deck number 9, you're doing what with it?
Well, I wanted to argue that it is permeable because of the distance between the boards, and under the deck, it's just compound soil, and rainwater goes right through it. And I would go for all 3 decks. The deck.
Good luck. You can argue all you want, and, you know, it's, again, I'll tell you, just like I told the other guy, it's one thing to argue that, because there is it's smoke and mirrors, really, right now. So by sitting here saying, with my decks, I'm going to argue that 50% of that. So what I really trying to understand is what you're removing. I don't want to know what you're arguing. I want to know what you're removing besides number 6 and part of the driveway, correct?
And the shed and the fire pit, if it.
The
what I-
shed, well, I already said the fire
Number
pit. So
6.
what shed? Shed number 2 or the gazebo? What are we talking about?
Shed number 2.
And what is it that you're doing with that?
I'm gonna put it on the blacktop driveway, number 10?
And
Shed number 2 was the one that was too close to the house and too close to the neighbor's property and it needed to move anyway.
yes,
That's
Yes.
correct.
So,
5 square feet.
Right.
and then a rock pit that seems permeable.
Is the number 9 deck still too close to the property line?
Which is number 9?
The one for the pool?
Off the pool, yeah.
Wasn't the gazebo also?
Yes.
The gazebo's too close to the property line?
Yes.
Putting the shed on the paved driveway is going to put it right on the property line again. It's going to put it on a different property line.
So it needs to be 5 feet from the property line, correct?
Okay, so yeah, if you could get it, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to remove the shed to the driveway, which is already calculated, so it won't be calculated twice, and you're going to keep it 5 foot off of that property line. What are you doing with the gazebo?
The gazebo. Well, I put a variance to ask permission if I can keep it there.
And then what about the pool?
The pool-
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the
The
pool,
pool, yeah.
right?
The pool, it takes this area of 441 square feet, and it doesn't make the requirements of the,
For all 3 setbacks.
yeah. Well, for one, it does, right? It's just 40 for one side of, 34.7, so I'd have to move it 6 feet.
It encroaches 5.3 feet and 19.1 feet respectively from the required front yard setback. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Right?
And it's the second time
Yeah,
that we're dealing with a pool in this area.
so we're really,
I'm also
at
having a
this,
hard-
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also having a hard time kind of visualizing it because I'm looking at it and you're kind of throwing it out at me. I would prefer to see it on the paper, what you're proposing. How it's not marked up. I'm kind of looking at this and you're kind of throwing out, like, yeah, number 6 I'll take care of. If you could mark that up, so it's a little more visual.
Yeah.
Also, what area of the paved drive that you plan on reducing, that should be marked up as well?
I'm sorry?
You had mentioned an area of the paved driveway you're going to be removing?
Yeah, well, the paved
We'd like
drive.
to have a visualization of what portion of that paved driveway.
Well, the driveway number 10, half of it is blacktop, the other half was never blacktop. So I just never did it. Grass grows on it and it gets muddy and I'm always having to use a weed whacker to cut the grass down.
It's still gravel, right? It's still, from the pictures I
Yeah,
see.
it's
that's
still-
what you're talking-
Very,
Right.
very tiny gravel. It's when I moved to the house, it was barely anything there, so I never had anything in there, and I never put new gravel on it. So when I put blacktop, I only put it on half the driveway.
So at this, and anyone on the board, just jump in and either stop me or help me. So at this point in the process, we're just trying to help you to the next stage of the process, right? Just like what was before you. Once we're done with this and we're trying to work together with you to go to a public hearing, that's where we're at. So you have quite a few things going on in this property. And if I remember correctly, you were in front of this board before. Kevin, clear me on this. Before where it was denied,
That was several years ago.
several years ago, right?
Well,
So-
I pulled out, it didn't.
Say that again?
I had pulled out my paperwork. I didn't get to the point where it even went public or anything, so I didn't get denied. I just
Yeah.
took
Okay.
the pool down, yeah.
Right,
You withdrew your application?
Yes.
right.
And took the pool out,
Took the pool out. You knew you had a pool
and then reinstalled it.
that you had up without a permit or permission, and you put a bigger one up.
It's actually smaller. The other one was wider and
Yeah, okay.
closer to the
All right.
property line,
Okay,
and this one is more narrow.
I'll give you that, but you
Yeah.
put one up, again, without permission
Correct,
or permit.
yes.
Right, so that's the big thing. Everything else here that you're talking to me about and the board about, okay, I'm gonna sacrifice the stone area number 6, right? That's just low-hanging fruit, right? That's easy stuff. I don't see an effort to
I don't see the
help yourself
sacrifice.
out. Yeah, the sacrifice to
Yeah,
help
I-
to help yourself out there to get to the next point.
So, let's skip ahead 2 meetings and we go over the 5 elements. Elements, what are
Right, it's a benefit to the applicant against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the community. The first factor is whether there be an adverse change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties by reason of the grant. The next is, are there feasible alternatives other than by the grant of an area variance? The next one is substantiality.
The other candidates are making a huge effort. Go ahead, what's the other element?
Is it substantial, and is it self-created? And is there a detriment to the environmental or physical conditions in the neighborhood or district?
Well, also, the other thing I was, wanted to talk about would be number 9, the wood deck on the pool. Downsizing or removing it and just having a ladder.
Weird to me, Kevin, you bring up a point, because number 9 should be too close also, yes?
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at it. I don't even need to see the measurements. I can. And there's a lot that's too close. And there's a lot of pre-existing non-conforming.
Yeah.
I get that, but there's been a lot of additions to the property.
Well, really, what's pre-existing non-conforming? Not
House.
number 9, yeah, the house, but not number 9, not number 17. You know, not number 2, not number 3. And then you got the,
I would assume
I
that
guess-
one of the driveways are newer.
yeah, and I guess number 8 would be maybe non-conforming, pre-existing, the deck on the top side,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
I'm only assuming.
Assuming, yeah. I mean, there had, I'm sure there was something
When I
there.
bought the house, the deck.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's what we're saying.
yeah.
That's what we're saying.
You know, when
Also,
you drive,
am I reading it right? There's also, I didn't realize this till just now, it wasn't sinking in. There's 2 full driveways.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
So it has two road cuts.
and I'm assuming when you say you're moving number 2 to the driveway, you're moving it to an area on number 10?
Correct.
Which is the driveway where you were saying you were going to remove, like, you were going to remove like the loose stones? And
Number 10.
that's number 10 also, okay.
Not, he didn't say he was going to remove it. He says it is It is permeable, is what he's saying.
Oh, so you weren't going to, so it's already permeable, not that you were going to remove?
I can
You're
take
saying
more permeable.
equitably it should count as half of, that's what you're saying?
Well, I can take whatever loose little rocks are there and lay down some sod.
That would be getting warmer.
Yeah,
That would be a step in the right
kind of
direction.
according to the survey, it's really not pointed out, but it also looks like 10, the driveway is encroaching on.
On the property.
On the neighbor's property.
It's actually the other way around.
What's that?
When the house was built, it was purchased by a corporation that, it was a foreclosure, so they purchased it, and they put a driveway in on my property line.
So number 10, are you referring to 10?
Yes.
So
where
that's not your driveway?
that is my driveway, but the driveway next to it where it says paved drive.
Right.
When the corporation put that driveway in, they impeded on my property line, so if you can see where the arrow
yeah.
is pointing.
It's hard to see where it says paved driveway, but it's clear on number 10 as you get further up
The top
into
corner.
the top corner, how it crosses over that property line to where it says dwelling, where you got
Yeah.
5. So that to me is crystal clear.
Do you see where it says 2.6 over? Their house is over. And
I think that refers to the wood fence.
I think that's the wood
Yeah,
fence.
that's the fence,
Not the
The
driveway.
fence is over.
I don't think that's the
That top
driveway,
corner of
that's
the
the wood
driveway
fence
is kind
that's
of
referring
nipping
to.
into the property.
And then where it says 5.2,
Right.
that's also blacktop, but
No, I think it's 5, what I'm looking at, that 5.2 is from the corner of that dwelling
Yeah.
to that property line,
yeah, so above the 5.2
right?
is a door, so that's all blacktop, the way it was done.
What's your point?
The point is that
That's not your property.
Yeah.
that's not correct, that's not my property.
Yeah, I don't care.
So it's not being calculated into the percentage here.
Correct.
So it's really a moot issue.
Okay, but I was just trying to answer the question of whether I approached with my driveway.
Well,
According to the survey.
according to the survey, you are. So you see where it says 5.2, and you see where it says 2.6 over, as you pointed out?
Yes.
So you see the corner of the driveway underneath that, how it's over the property line?
Yep.
That's what I'm referring to.
Well, the reason I'm confused is because if you see a picture, if you see it in person, that's just all blacktop.
Yeah, I'm going by an official stamped survey. Someone's license is on the line here. That's all I'm going by, nothing but the facts.
Okay, I understand. I'm just a little confused
Yeah.
because it's all blacktop, and I didn't do that blacktop on the right-hand side, on that corner that you say. But I'm just a little confused.
Yeah, oh my.
Okay.
Which part of that driveway number 10, and how much of it are you saying that you would take out whatever stones there are and put in sod?
Under, you see where it says 34.4?
Like
Yeah.
that.
The offset to the pool you're talking
Okay.
about?
Yeah, down
That lower half where
Yeah,
it
the
comes
lower
into
half.
Park Terrace?
up to where it said 80.
Is that driveway used?
Yes.
So I'm sorry, so the part from Park Terrace up to where it says 34.4?
Yes.
That's the part that would be left as pavement, or that's the part that would be taken out and sodded?
Sod.
So
I
I'm
think
confused.
Originally, what
I'm
that area
confused now,
was
too.
used for was
I'm
for
confused.
basketball and for the play area for the kids.
So the part where it's actually 10 that's circled is going to be a basketball court and a play area?
It is now. It's paved, and there is a basketball net there.
So then if
You
you're,
would sod over the lower half.
Correct.
and then it
Okay.
wouldn't be used as a driveway anymore?
I guess it could be used as a driveway.
Well, if you're going to sod it,
Go over
you,
it.
you just said you were going to take from the pool offset down to Park Terrace, remove that, possibly side it, make it part of your lawn. The part above it is a basketball court and play area. So if you're gonna remove that and sod, you're gonna come from Park Terrace, drive over the new lawn to park in the basketball court and play area.
Well, there's only 2 cars on the property, so what I mean is, like, when family come over, sometimes they'll park on the grass. I mean,
I mean, it's a
And
corner,
also-
it's a corner property, and that's, I'm sure there's a no parking in the front yard provision in your code, as there is in most codes. So, I mean, it's like,
but
it's,
there's a fence there.
Certainly on
there's so much
Cromwell.
wrong here.
Certainly on Cromwell Hill.
But there's a fence there. That's
I mean, there's an awful lot on this property.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking, you know, a
you
pool, a
can't park on
gazebo, a fire
grass?
pit, decks, 2 driveways, a playground. There's an awful lot on there.
I bought the house with 2 driveways. I mean,
Yeah, I get it.
But then you added all those other.
Right,
And
all the other,
things,
all the
that's-
other stuff has
you-
been added.
Then you keep
Again,
adding to it.
we're trying to help you. All right? You got to help yourself. And we could sit here, go round and round, and if you're not going to help yourself, then, you know, we're just going to go along with the process. And what's going to happen now is when it comes to there, because there's an awful lot wrong with this property, the big stuff is going to be kicking you right in the teeth. The pool, the gazebo, the deck. It's just going to be kicking you in the teeth. You're not setting yourself up for success. So I'm actually want to know from you, what do you want us to do? Or what are you expecting us to do?
well, like I stated before, the wood deck, number 9, I'll remove it. The driveway, I'll put sod. The shed, I'll move over to an area that's a blacktop. The stone area, my question to you is, the rocks, are they seem permeable, but if I need to remove the rocks from the stone area, it's fine. I can leave the chairs on the grass, and it has a pit there that can be removed back and forth.
Surveyor put it on there for a reason. I, for one thing, would like to see all this visibly, what you're talking about, because I kind of keep, and listening to you and jumping around between listening to you and looking at it.
Let's see a written proposal.
Yeah, I'd like to see this, you know, kind of mapped out on the survey. You know, with the calculations of how much square footage you're taking out of whatever it is you decide on doing. I want to see where it is exactly and what the calculations are.
Yeah, so if you're listening to the board, it's up to you now, right? So the ball's in your court. If you take what we're saying and what you're willing to do, right? After all, it's your property. So what you're willing to do, get us better pictures of the pool, the deck, everything that's in question here. You know, that area that the driveway is, if it's all concrete, and lay out a plan of what you're going to do, submit it, and let's work together. Otherwise, you're by yourself. And like the one board member said, that we're going to get to a point after a public hearing that we're going to have to answer the 5 elements. And I don't want to jump ahead, but just off the top of my head, it's not going to go well.
You know, those 5 elements, they don't all have to be
Right.
100% covered,
But a good effort
but a
made.
good effort. Like, we could say, yes, one of those 5 points doesn't really fit the criteria, but, you know, that's 1 out of 5.
Okay. So, in conclusion, I'll come back with not just a map and the corrections and everything else. but
Corrections with the
also
calculations.
The calculations. Now, the calculations, I'll get the surveyor to help me with that, so it could be
I mean, how you go about it, we
Yeah.
can't tell you how to do it. But, something that we can visibly see, not just kind of us going back and forth, which is kind of what's happening now. It's like a negotiation, and it really shouldn't be a negotiation. It kind of should be you presenting us with something.
It's ambiguous. We really don't know what the ground
Yeah.
is that you're gonna sign. Is it 30 square feet or 300 square feet? We really don't know. I don't, it's not indicated on the drawings.
Okay.
Find those areas, we got a better idea.
And I have gone by this property a few times. I know Zach, there's a couple of us
I
that
have,
gone
yeah.
by there. And, when you see it, there's a lot going on. It catches your eye. There's a carnival in town.
That's actually the word that I came to mind.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
When you drive by it, it's shocking. You say, wow, a carnival came to town. Right? So I would go back, and again, we're trying to help. I would go back, come out with a plan, and, just be clear with your plan and saying, this is what I'm going to do. And I don't even know, like Kevin said, we can't tell you how to go about doing it. But maybe the next step, I don't know if I would engage a surveyor at this point. I might say, all right, number 9, and you could look it up on all your information and say number 9 is roughly 300 square feet, and the pictures of the driveway and the driveway that you're looking to get rid of might be 400 square feet. I mean, you could rough that out. You could throw a tape, 50 times 50, do the math, that's your square footage. Show me where you're going to put that shed, number 2, on there, right? Just paint the picture, because again, if it's to go forward and it's successful on your end, there'll be stipulations. It's not just going to be, this isn't I Dream of Jeannie, we're just going to blink our eyes and say, it's good to go, and we trust you. The pool hurt you. What you did to yourself with the pool. That hurts. So then, if it gets to that point, there's going to be stipulations. You're going to have to prove what you've done, or it's nothing. So at this point, I'd go back, come up with a plan. If it's deck number 9, and if it's whatever you decide to do, list it out for us. Take a good picture of your pool and deck, whatever you're going to do, and let's talk about it.
Okay.
And let's go from there.
Okay.
Clear and precise is what we're looking for. This much square footage off the driveway. The deck is currently this much square footage. I'm going to take that away if that's what you plan to do. Like, clear and precise numbers.
Okay.
Please provide photos,
Okay. Great.
clear photos.
Any other questions from the board? You have any questions for us?
No.
All right. All right, so this will just stay open, and we'll see you next month.
Yes.
All righty?
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Bye.
Good night.
All righty. Mr. Weiss is not coming?
No, they realized after we scheduled the public hearing last month that it's Passover. He didn't realize the night. So his office called and asked if we could postpone the public hearing to start next month.
So
They
then
had not done the mailings yet.
Okay, so then do I have to go ahead and make a motion to?
That's, I believe,
Yeah,
Dave's
so
nodding his head.
at this point, with them not being able to show up for their reasons that they stated, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to carry this over to a public hearing to start May 28th at 7 PM, I'm told.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, Captain. Okay, next up is the Town of Monroe Planning Board.
Ready?
Yeah. How you doing tonight? So I was talking to Dave earlier, and we made a motion to reopen the public hearing, which had to be, mailings had to be sent and all that stuff. So at this point, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second that.
The rehearing.
Yeah, the rehearing,
I'll second that.
Reopen the hearing.
yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I just want to jump in on a procedural point, just to make sure that everything's covered. In terms of the mailings, I want to make sure that the mailings, that there was a mailing that was sent to the property owners, Summercrest.
Yes,
It definitely went out with the other mailings as part of that. So they got notice at the same time. It wasn't just, okay. They did get that mailing. All right.
Okay. How you doing, Bonnie?
I'm sorry, we have, just the proof of that in the record, we have, what, I can't remember if our code provides. We have return receipt requested. Is it certified mailing? Is it registered?
most of them back.
But is it, do we have proof of the mailing, regardless of whether we received the return
Yes.
receipt? Okay.
Just a quick, just so I understand, when we're asking for an appeal from a determination and it involves a property, is it just the property owner that gets notified, or do parcels around it also get notified?
I think it's the same. I think all parcels around it are to be notified, the same as any other application.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
since it pertains to a particular property, as applied to a particular property.
Okay, so you would have a list of who it was circulated to? Okay, I was just curious. I wasn't sure how that worked, because this is a appeal of the planning board involving a property, so I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah, understood. And then I think, Noreen, you had advised me that in addition, the attorney for
I emailed the attorney.
for Summercrest was also notified separate and apart from the mailing to the client? Okay. No, I just want to make sure that that was covered.
Sounds good. All right, Bonnie, what do you got?
So, thank you for reopening the public hearing. I appreciate that. And, I essentially tried to do a little more research on the question of noncompliance, nonconforming, was the use abandoned, et cetera. And, as I don't live around there, I wouldn't have necessarily seen things, but I looked at the record, I looked at what was on file with the tax assessor. I also found some, for what it's worth, real property sales information that I can offer up. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention was my firm at the time, before I became planning board chairwoman, we prepared the zoning that was adopted in 2017, which is essentially, the current zoning with some local law changes that have come and go. But it was that zoning that amended the non-conforming summer cottage development section. So if you go to general code and if you're able to look at archives, you'll see that before 2017, the same language exists that says any property lawfully used on or before the third day of September 54 for the purpose of rental summer cottage development shall be considered a lawful non-conforming use and may be continued. Back then, before 2017, there was another section that said may contain additional summer cottages, but only with the boundaries of such property as they existed on the third day of September, and only on the following conditions. And essentially it says you have to have had a map showing the location of all existing and proposed buildings, and installation shall be filed with and approved by the planning board. So I bring this up because, to my knowledge, there's nothing in the planning board files related to this particular property, and that there was any filing of a map, and that there was anything given to it in terms of status, allowing additional bungalows, allowing them to be converted to two-family cottages. That didn't occur. So in 2017, that language was removed because the town did not want to have any more continuance of summer cottages, summer bungalow developments, that essentially, either they would be converted to a conforming use or they would have to disappear. So, I was trying to find out where some of the language came into existence, and the one thing I did find was that it was specifically changed in 2017. The other thing, again, this is information that I found. There was a Cushman Wakefield flyer in 2014. So this property had been on sale or for sale for a while. And back then, it described it as a 16-unit and bungalow colony with single-family home with pool and more. So it makes reference to one single-family home. It says closed down for many years. And then it says, but grandfathered in for a colony, probably referencing, the summer cottage language in the zoning. But the point is, this was back in 2014, and it said closed down for many years. So I don't think this has been operational for quite some time. That gets back to that whole question of whether it was abandoned. There was another Cushman Wakefield ad, and this was probably, it has to have been 2018 or 2019, because in the description it says soon to open Legoland and all new Cartwright Resort. And looking those up, Legoland was open I think in 2021 when I did a little search, and Cartwright, all new, open in 2019. So this was likely after that, possibly. But again, it talks about prestigious 17-acre estate. It says property offers 3 single-family homes, makes the large pond and an in-ground pool suitable for a buyer for a family complex or private estate. So this article talked about 3 single-family homes. The point is there's never...
I'm sorry, what's the year on that?
That, I believe, it has to have been around 2018, 2019. Again, because Legoland hadn't been open, and that was 2021, so it had to have been before then. And I can provide links to this, or I can provide this, obviously.
Not dated? The article's not dated?
This isn't. It's just a property that's being described online at Cushman and Wakefield. The other flyer...
Was it Cushman and Wakefield in the earlier advertisement where it said one?
That's also Cushman and Wakefield. That one, when I look at the PDF property information, it says 2014.
And that just refers to one dwelling?
It refers to one dwelling.
And
So-
now later one says a number 3?
3, but all single family.
Right.
No two-family, no multifamily, and specifically, the one says that the bungalow had been, vacated, something to the effect of closed down for many years.
Bonnie, these flyers, these are advertisements, obviously, for the sale of the property, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So, is it going to be precise? I think it's they're trying to sell a property. So they're describing what's there on the site. And then also looking at the building inspector's information. I didn't see reference to any two-family. There's this back and forth apparently between the tax assessor and the property owner about the assessment and the buildings and whether they're being described properly. And there's
With the present owner?
with the present owner. And it's involving the two-family, saying that there's a photo of the two-family there. But interestingly, this ad that talks about the one single-family dwelling has a picture of that specific building that in question, that's a two-family, and it's only describing a single-family. And, so I think at least in terms of what I could find, I see no reference to two families. There's an old survey that accompanied our planning board submission, and it showed 3 stone houses. It was from the prior owner, Shapiro, before the Runcos purchased it. And the Runcos were the ones who had the bungalow community or inherited it, and then it, eventually went vacant. But there's reference to 3 stone houses, and then everything else is just showing little boxes for buildings.
Know the date of that survey?
That survey is, let's see if I can see it, 1969, October 22nd. Survey as in possession of lands of Morris L. Shapiro to be conveyed to Angelo and Innocenza Runco. So this is the property. So, you know, we've been at this for a while, and I think when I had left, and unfortunately I couldn't come back at the time, you know, for reasons, personal reasons, there was a question about what we knew about these properties in terms of when they got vacated, or did we have any additional information on what they were. So I just wanted to offer up, from my perspective, again, no reference to 2 families, no more than 1 to 3 single-family, evidence that that bungalow development had been vacated. And then I wanted to share that the zoning was changed in 2017 to get rid of this language that would have allowed you to actually continue and had standards for the use of a summer cottage development, because the intent was the town didn't want to allow them to continue. You know, they can exist now in their seasonal form, but beyond that, you know, if they are abandoned, that would be it. So that's what I want to offer. I can give you this.
Yeah, I would
I'll
like,
send
I
this
would
to you.
like the copy of that stuff along with the survey.
Yep.
And like you said, we've been at this a while, and it's been a couple of months since we all talked about this. In the prior conversations and meetings, I don't think there was any evidence of 2-family housing. Right there.
Well,
I
also,
It was on the building inspector's report,
Yeah, but
but no
But I
evidence
think
nowhere
thereof.
in the history did it say, it
Correct.
was what's kind of happening now type of
Right.
deal,
Right.
but nothing there in any of the archives or research leaning towards 2-family home.
Correct, there was none.
Okay.
correct, and Ben's determination was not to that effect. His determination was that 4 of the structures were single-family year-round dwellings. Nowhere does he find any of them to be, you know, used as 2-family.
Yeah.
So I
And
think the
I'm-
question that the board was looking at before the hearing was closed was, you know, the status of those ones that he determined were single-family year-round dwellings. When did they, you know, what was the history of each of those 4?
Right.
And that's what
Yeah.
the information that you're bringing today is relating to those single-family
Right.
dwellings,
And
right?
I guess I question whether, in fact,
And
there were 4.
is there any record of that 4th one?
Yeah. That's my question.
That's what your question, okay.
Yeah, because
We-
I
because-
think there's
No
some
permit was ever
evidence
pulled
of-
on that?
There's evidence of 1 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of the question is also what was vacated. Because it's not just about the fact that there's, you know, how many are there, but also were they vacated and
Right.
what's non-conforming.
And where the archive says that it's been, or the advertisement said that it's been vacant for a while, for some
Yeah,
time.
for years, and that was
For
in
years.
2014.
So,
Well,
so
did they say vacant or not in
2014
business?
No, yeah, I don't know but 2014 information referred to 1 dwelling?
It
one-
said
1
6.
single-family dwelling, and then
Yes.
in the information that you found later, was it 2017, referred to 3?
That was like, yeah, I'm going to guess it's 2018, 2019.
2018,
Yeah.
2019?
Yep, but that
Bonnie-
refers to 3.
Here's a crazy question. If you know from the photos, from you looked at the link, do you know which structure it refers to?
The 1 single-family home,
Right.
I can show you what it shows. Can I approach? Approach the bench.
Marry that. it's maybe below.
You can sit down. We got a good look, and you're going to send us this.
So
Yeah, we're trying to look.
if you could, when you send that along to the board, could you accompany it with like a short narrative with
Yes.
what your conclusions are based on that?
Yes, I can do that for certain. So again, and I bring this up because of the fact it talked about closed down for many years. So I don't know if you have additional questions, but that's what, again, I wanted to bring up as far as my
Yeah.
research.
No,
what I
we
was able to
appreciate
find.
it. And like, yeah, get that to us. If there's any other questions, yeah, you guys, any more?
Just a point of clarity, just so I have my head right. So in 2014, that's the advertisement, and it's saying that there was one, but is that one that they're advertising being occupied, or even then it's not occupied, or you can't tell?
All it says is 16-unit and bungalow colony with single-family home with pool and more, and then it says closed down for many years, but grandfathered in for colony. And
Closed
that
in,
was that.
yeah,
Because
which
this- if
is
this is-
closed down, including the single family or not including the
Yeah,
single family?
that's the
Right.
part that doesn't,
Right, it's not clear, but I think definitely closed down for many years, and frankly, given the condition of the bungalows, my sense is definitely the bungalow was. And single family, these are the pictures, this is what you see.
Yeah, and then in 2018 and 2019, it then's advertising for three.
3 single family,
Okay.
correct.
And are they saying that those were occupied at that time as well, or they're not making any representations about that?
No, it just says property which offers 3 single-family homes. Makes the large pond and in-ground pool suitable for a buyer looking for a family complex or private estate. So there isn't even any mention of using it for,
there's a claim in all this that there's 4 single-family
Yeah.
homes.
Right. In 2014, the advertisement saying there's one that may or may not be occupied. In 2018, 2019, it's saying that there's 3. And
That's an
now by,
advertisement.
so,
That's advertisement to sell, correct?
yes. And then I would only add that, God, there's so much information here, that in 2022, the actual deed that went from, I think it's Claire Runco, to whoever became the new property owner, it says in the deed, Claire Runco residing at, and it says either 25 Pinecrest or 25 Summercrest, because that's been used interchangeably. So I believe from that, at least one,
One was occupied.
right. But beyond that,
Yeah,
I don't think there's evidence. And
right.
also, hydro report, there's a hydrological report that the applicant provided us dated May 25th, 2022. Site is currently vacant residential property. And that's probably because when he took it over, Claire left and
Yeah.
people moved out. So then it was certainly vacant entirely.
So we from 14 to 2018, 2019, we can, by the advertisements for sale, we can show that there was 1 home to 3 homes, no evidence of the 4th home. And in the 2014 advertisement for sale, did it say 16 total?
16,
16 units
With one,
with 1 home.
right.
And
And
so there's no other from all the other information that we have, and that's what was in question, is they were summer bungalows, bungalow colony, seasonal. And we can't come up with what you're gonna give to us and add to that. We can't come up with the fourth. Okay.
So I will get a narrative to you, and
that
I will
would
get
be
those
helpful.
to you. I'll do an excerpt of the deed where it says resided, that was 2022. Maybe put together a chronology as far as where I came up with the date, especially for the one advertisement, and that's, again, based on the description of Lego land, soon to open, you know.
And then later on, 2022 deed kind of referred to
Claire
the
Runco residing.
residing in,
Yeah, so
there,
I
so-
think that there was one that
Right.
was living there.
right.
I believe, but
Okay.
unless you get other information from
Yes.
others.
Or anything in the tax assessor's information?
It's very confusing, the information, because there was, I think at some point, Mr. Mitz, the owner, or whoever it is, yeah, I'm not sure of his ownership, but involvement in the property, he refers to, he's going back and forth with the tax assessor, arguing about the property and what's there.
Even historically, before this previous owner? I'm sorry, the current owner?
Yeah, I mean, I can put that all together. Do you have any of the tax assessor's information? Or I can at least try and
I don't.
summarize. I mean, I have 3 big files we had gotten 3 big files from the FOIL of the building inspector.
I want 3 big files.
They're like 35 megabyte or something very large.
That's what it takes.
Yep.
I'll do
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
But there are a lot of scans of a lot of tax property cards, newer ones from the county, you know, ones that were updated after the current applicant owned it, ones beforehand. So it's a lot to go through, and then it's not particularly organized, so it's even hard to.
I mean, is that even neither here nor there with us, though? I mean, we're deciding on an interpretation of the code.
Yeah.
That's really all we're doing.
Right, exactly.
We don't need to see the tax codes.
Yes.
No.
And for what it's worth, I'm
Yeah, no, I
sure
understand.
it's available in our records.
Yeah.
Just helping me put 2 and 2 together. That advertisement from 2014, it was 16 units plus 1 single-family house, or 16 including the single-family?
It said 16, let me bring it up again. 16 unit, and then it has the word "and bungalow colony." So I think that "and" probably might have been a communication typo.
Inartful,
It says 16 unit and bungalow colony with single-family home.
with single-family home.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is because I just counted up on Ben's. He's got, if you take away the rec community building and the barn storage accessory, there's 17 total.
Yeah.
Right.
There's
So
that would probably account for that 4th house that
Or
is
the-
unaccounted for.
Or the 16
plus
16
one.
buildings
16
plus
plus one.
Plus the one.
Plus the single family is 17.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
That's what I get out of that.
Yep, me too.
Okay.
Yep.
So
So we'll get this to you, I'll
Yeah.
get you a
Yeah.
narrative. And again, it's just my findings from doing a deep dive into Google.
Yep.
And DuckDuckGo and other places.
Oh, absolutely.
And we look forward to your determination whenever it's made. And again, this has nothing to do with the applicant and wanting to use it for some purpose. It's just our belief that at this point, a certain use has been abandoned, there's a lot of work going on there, and we're concerned that it's being done, without appropriate or applicable approvals, including possibly coming to the planning board. So, and there are other issues there, but I won't get into it. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, just so we're all on the same page, my suggestion is to keep the public hearing open,
Definitely.
receive the document,
Okay.
from the applicant, and then just put this, continue this rehearing over to next month, May, whatever that date is.
Yep. May 28th at 7 PM.
So I would suggest that you make
Make
a
a
motion
motion,
to
right.
continue the hearing to that
Yeah,
date and
I'll
time.
make a motion to continue the public hearing.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
whoa, whoa.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize there was people here.
Does anybody else want to speak?
Sorry.
I was going to
Good
say, do you
catch.
continue it, or do you want to continue it to a date where hard copies have to come in? Or do you normally continue it and then make a decision the same evening?
No, I think we're just
don't know
going to,
when we'll make the decision,
yeah,
but-
we're going to continue it because there's just information here that I want to make sure everybody has
Okay.
to
Opportunity
be
to look at.
clear, the opportunity. So at this point, we're just going to, after we're done hearing from the gentleman here, we're just going to continue to keep it open.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie.
How you doing? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Please.
State your name.
Scott Fisher, Monroe, New York.
How you doing, Scott?
I was not expecting to speak, so all my thoughts are all over the place on this.
Just pull the mic closer to
Sorry.
you, and there you go.
Okay. I own the property 5 Pinecrest Lane, and that is the first on the left as you drive up the road. To this date, I still have not received a notice of public hearing, just so you're aware, if one was sent to me.
Yes, you
Okay. I have not received one as of today.
dropped them at the,
I'm just
telling you, I personally dropped them this time.
So, I purchased that property in 2012. Renovated the property and then rented the property out, so I do not live there. What I do know is I did have the pleasure of meeting Claire and Netta that lived up there. Let's see here. When I moved in, or when I purchased the property, there were 4 units that could be considered year-round. One was Claire's house, which is the first when you pull in. The second is Netta's, which is the last on the left. The third is the grandparents' house, which is where the parents' house, that's where their parents lived. The yellow house in between the two. And then the fourth one was a small bungalow that's on the left as you pull in there.
Bungalow style.
Bungalow style, yeah. It's
Yeah.
basically a rectangle or a square. It's small.
What year was that?
2012.
12.
The small bungalow is a newer built house. So it's not from the 30s, 40s, 50s, whenever it was a bungalow colony, to the best of my knowledge. I did have the opportunity a couple times of going up there. I also had the opportunity to tour the property with Claire's permission in April of '21. At that time, Claire still lived in her house. The grandparents' house was still vacant. As far as I know, it was vacant since I purchased it. Netta's house was being rented out. That would be the 2-family house I think you're talking about. I do not ever remember it being a 2-family house. She rented hers out maybe 3 years before they sold the property. Could be more, could be less. And the newer bungalow was being lived in. One of their sons, I think, was living there.
So April 2021, 3 out of the 4 homes were being lived in, single-family homes.
Correct.
Fisher, just for clarification, the yellow one, is that 31 Pinecrest?
I don't have the map in
I think
front
the
of me.
numbers have changed.
Because I'm looking at the photos of submission. Would you like to actually look at the photo, and just for clarification, so we can kind of distinguish which ones you're talking about?
I have a map here, too. Yes, that would be the grandparents' house.
Okay, so that one was occupied or not?
That would be, that one was not occupied, 31.
This one here, which is identified as 41,
That would be Netta's house?
and was that occupied?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
It's been occupied. That would be the 2-family house you were discussing?
and
That would be Claire's house.
which one here?
They're-
This is one of the same, because I have, oh yeah, 25. 5,
Which submittal is this? This is dated, this is referring to photographs attached to the September 7, 2013 submittal from Naughton and Torrey.
we're saying number 25, right? Number 31 was not occupied. And 41?
Was occupied.
Okay.
It was two-family.
31 was the grandparents.
Just give me those numbers one more time. Which was which?
31
I'll give you the
was not lived in. I think 25, 29,
31 not occupied, correct, Mr.
Right.
Fisher? This one here, 41, was,
41,
41?
and
That-
25 is occupied.
right.
And then you mentioned,
But it wasn't a
wasn't a
two-family.
two-family.
That's what they're referring as
Right,
two-family
we
now.
refer
but-
to it as a
Right.
two-family.
mentioned one more.
I thought you said 29.
This is the newer bungalow.
The newer bungalow, okay, and is that occupied or not?
Was occupied at the time.
In 2012?
The newer bungalow was,
12 through whenever he purchased the property.
Okay,
Is there a number on the newer bungalow?
29.
Yeah. 41, 25, 29 are lived in, 31 wasn't, which was the grandparents.
and 31 was lived in when you
Thank you,
moved
sir.
in
Appreciate it.
2012, but not in 2021 when you visited?
I don't recall it ever being lived in.
Oh, no, oh,
Yeah, in 2021, 3 out of the 4 homes were being lived in, and you said in 2012, 4 homes possibly could have been lived in.
Could have been lived,
Right.
are basically year-round homes.
Yes.
But the rest of the small bungalows were vacant, it seemed?
They were all
They're
vacant,
gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
yes. And as
According to the photos
they're-
submitted to us by the owner.
None of them were able to be lived in.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
basically, in '21, when I viewed the property, there's no way they could have been lived in.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
States of disrepair,
Oh, yeah.
to say the least.
That's,
got
yeah, we
pictures.
were given that. That's, okay.
So I'm sorry, before I interrupted and asked you to come up, you were,
I don't think I was saying anything. I don't know.
okay.
Anything else? Any other questions?
No, you got anything
No,
else?
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
And
41 was the Claire Runco house?
Yeah.
Or that's 20?
Yep.
Okay.
4125 is the one that is the two-family now,
First one when you
That's
pull
what
in.
he called Netta's house, right?
and then 29 is the newer bungalow.
Okay.
4125. 31 not. Anyone else out there? Bueller? All right, so thank you, appreciate the help. At this point, I'd like to make a motion to continue to keep the public hearing open for May 28th at 7 PM.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okey dokey, now we are on to minutes. Did I, yeah, there was, yeah.
Okay, that's, okay.
So I looked at the October minutes and they look good to me. I don't know if anyone had an issue.
I concur.
No objection here.
Any, you're good with them, John? Zach?
I'm good with them.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion that the minutes for October 24, 2023 were just fine.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And that's all I have, so I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
No, I forgot to stamp it today.